Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast, presents episode 777, PC First Class, recorded live on April 29th, 2021. Hello everyone, welcome to Podtacular, the unofficial Halo Universe podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, Duststorm.
I'm your other co-host, Godzilla T.
And we have more Infinite news! Yay!
The Infinites have come.
Yes, it is our monthly.
Monthly. We haven't quite made it to
Infinite
weekly
update.
yet.
Right.
Yeah.
That will probably come after the summer.
Coming, but not yet.
Yeah. Gosh. After the summer of craziness that's going to be coming up with flighting and summer conferences and whatnot, it's going to get busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's lots of hints in this month's update as well, as far as things that might be coming down the pike for the summer.
You know, there's one thing I have to say. Do you think Halo YouTubers are getting desperate for content yet?
They've been desperate for content, I'm not gonna
No,
lie.
I mean like really desperate because they're like shaving their heads now.
Seriously?
Nick.
Wait, he shaved?
He shaved his head.
Was that a stream there like the whole Cortana thing was?
I have no idea. I don't know why he did it, but it's been all over my feed today that Uberdick shaved his head. Still has the beard, shaved his head.
That was probably a stream challenge. He does some of that crazy stream challenge stuff sometimes, and I guess he did one for shaving his head.
And then somebody stuck him on Craig.
Oh well, that's just perfect. I haven't seen this at all. I've been busy at work today, so
So have I. Honestly, I wouldn't even have known it if I hadn't gotten a message from someone on Twitter.
I missed it then. Wow.
It was, while I'm here, let's just see what's going on. And I saw that and I'm like, what?
Guess I will have to go find that later. That's
Me too. I'll have to go
wow.
determine what was going on there.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be
Anywho.
a YouTube upload from him on what happened, why it happened, and all that craziness.
Crazy.
But anyways, we're here to talk about the PC side of Halo Infinite with this latest update. But before we get there, we're going to do a couple of the normal housekeeping things, starting with our Podtacular community update with GT on the Fragment Fighter recap from last week. So how do we do, GT, last week with
We
Halo?
played games.
Yes. There's a certain
Yes.
game we probably played. One that we haven't played in a while on Fridays.
Yeah. We actually jumped into MCC this week.
We did.
Last week. It's not this week yet.
This
last
past week.
And for the people that are listening on the download, it's the week before last week. Anyway, confusing. No, we had a lot of fun. We screwed around, big team battle, played with some of the new game types, and had a lot of fun. It was enjoyable. I was having a really terrible night with connection. I was having some major lag, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because the next day I went and played it and it was fine. And I even played it for a little bit after I stopped streaming and I was still having troubles.
The internet was like, GT shall not play Halo.
I don't know what it was because I was having no problems with the stream. But when it came to MCC, and granted, I was playing on PC this last Friday because I hadn't updated MCC on my Xbox yet. And I didn't have time to download a 55 gigabyte update because, Xbox Live wanted to do it at, like 4
Oh, jeez.
instead of 40. Xbox Live was being generous with their connections, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know what was going on. But everybody else had a lot of fun. So I just spent a lot of time watching people teleport across my screen and headshots not registering and, dying to invisible people. That was fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad case of the Bobby net.
Shot by... Well, where the hell was he?
Yeah.
But everybody else had fun, so that's the important part.
You weren't the only one that got some lag issues. There were a few games that definitely seemed laggy, but...
Well, mine was a little beyond the lag part.
Yeah, yours was particularly
I mean, people were moving across the map in a blink of an eye. I mean, just bloop, 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 bloop. You know, they're hard to shoot that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. When they're jumping around, like, I don't even know what to even compare them to.
It's all Bobby's fault. It's all Bobby's fault. I don't care. It's just Bobby's fault.
Bobby, why did you give your internet to GT? You knew this would happen. Well, that's good. Glad we got some good games in. You got DOS today playing ranked while streaming. Wow, Frizzled. That's unfortunate. And really pathetic. If you think about it.
Yeah, thankfully, I have not been DDoSed yet, but I'm sure it's just a matter of time before somebody decides it's a funny thing.
I don't recall a time I've ever been DDoSed. So, I don't know. All right. So that was Fraggin' Friday. So thank you, GT. We'll have another Fraggin' Friday tomorrow for those listening live. For those listening to the podcast, it's already happened for this one. But every Friday, we're hopping on to either Halo 5 or MCC based on the community vote in our Discord. So if you want to come and play, hop on over and join us on Twitch on Friday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And let GT know what you want to play by voting in our Discord.
And by the way, polls close at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
30 minutes before the game night. That way GT can
people
get set
that
up.
were trying to sneak votes in after the cutoff.
You gotta get them in early.
You gotta give me time to update the stream title.
Yep. Oh. And make sure customs work because they break after every update, it seems like.
No kidding. Although they haven't done too bad lately.
Okay.
The last few times they've been pretty stable on the customs, at least on MCC, and they haven't updated Halo 5, so there's no problem there.
Gotcha. On the Achieving Halo front, we did some more Season 6 challenges in MCC. Got a lot of the PvP ones done actually during Fragging Friday. So we did some other PvE type challenges on Sunday. Got Keys in there with Prestige. Alice's Pieces or Pillar joined us for, I think, a game or two towards the end. And we had a pretty good time. After Fragging Friday, we farmed FFA to try to do some of the Halo 2 Environmentalist achievement. We managed to get one game on the Lockout remake in Halo 2 Anniversary and got 9 in one game. So,
well, that's good.
Thanks to everyone who stuck around and helped me get towards it. Appreciate it. Try and get some of those achievements still unlocked.
Yeah, we need to work on that Halo 3.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, those are the ones that really...
Running out of time on that one.
Yep. And me being smart and having 2 jobs is not working well for me to actually getting a scheduled time down with the Halo Completionist crew, but you get that done here pretty soon. Yeah. Anyways, there's some Reach ones too that people will need help with.
Yeah, I've got Reach and Halo 4 to do still.
I've got one Halo 4 one, which is the Ricochet one, which is going to be interesting to do because I don't know if there's a Ricochet playlist.
There's no playlist. I think it's a random. It's in a random pick for a game, I think.
So that'll be a stretch one to get as well.
Yep.
Yeah. It's going to suck. Anyways. We've got our company commendations that we're still working on as well for those that are helping us out with the Achilles helmet. Thanks for hopping into Halo 5 and helping us there. We've got 6 more commendations that we're going for, I believe. Just opening up my tab since I did not have that one up in time. The closest one that we've got is the Lucky, which is earning a cluster luck, last shot sayonara fastball medal. We are still about 150 away from those. And then we've got killing a driver of a moving vehicle with using a sniper rifle. Keys, your help with that would be appreciated. Getting kills with grenades, getting kills with ground vehicle, and then the killing Marines and shoulder bashes. So those are the 6 that we need left. And then for Tales from the Foxhole, there's one new clip from Bobby that he literally posted 7 minutes ago. See you trying to sneak
a whole
that one
7
in there,
minutes.
Bobby. Getting an unfriggin' believable on a Warzone game, a normal Warzone game, in a Phaeton, that vehicle that you can't seem to get.
Yes, way to rub it in dust.
I mean, I figured that was half the reason why he posted it. Right, Bobby? You're in here. You can attest to that, right?
Help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda.
Starts with the Phaeton, ends with a Hannibal tank.
I'll have to watch it to see where he gets the Hannibal tank from.
Yep. I'll have to watch that later, because, posted 7 minutes ago. Way to go, Bobby. All right, time to get into the playlist updates. What we got coming down the pipe for Halo 5?
For Halo 5 for this weekend, April 29th, we have Community Slayer rotating in and Warzone.
Turbo
goes live this weekend. And then for next weekend, May 6th, we get Action Shack rotating in for Community Slayer.
Very nice.
So be sure to tune in and grab that double XP, and maybe, just maybe, if you have no life, you can hit 152 by the time Infinite launches.
For our group that witnessed Confowl's success a couple of weeks ago, and everyone else is kind of lagging behind. So yeah.
Yeah.
And what about
1.5 trillion XP that I need? Oh,
Jeez,
for MCC, we got Rocket Race rotating in, and the Waterfall playlist is rotating out.
Is bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. But that's not
I like Waterfall, but I don't think it rated a whole playlist to itself, but I understand why they were doing it.
Right. There's something else there as well.
There is.
There is.
There is.
Yes.
Where?
Right above it.
Right above it. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
You mean you really want me to tell that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, after many decades of waiting and praying and crying and whining and bugging and pestering, the custom games browser has come to MCC.
Yay!
From April 29th to May 3rd, you'll be able to help 343 do a scale test by hopping into Halo Reach and playing all the customs you want.
Yes, Fuchs. There are those that said this day would never come. What have they to say now? Yes, we've got the custom game browser, albeit in a somewhat limited fashion, in MCC, starting off today as we're recording this podcast and going throughout the weekend. So by the time you're hearing this, if you're hearing this when it releases, you have a few more days to try this out. Postums does have a little interview with Max Slazer, the design director for the publishing team at 343, about the customs browser and some of the stuff that's been going on with it behind the development. So right now it is there for Halo Reach for this weekend, helping stress test. There's also some screenshots over in the forums as well of what it's going to look like. So you hop into the multiplayer menu. You see normally social games, competitive games, custom multiplayer, and now there's the custom game browser option.
Browsers.
Yeah.
Browser.
Bowser. Custom Bowser. Custom game browser.
Custom Bowsers.
You have the option to.
It's Bowser. Anyway.
You have the option to browse a list of existing custom games, or you can create your own. And it shows the game type, the session, the map that's being played on, how many players are in the lobby, and what the ping is to that specific custom game. You can click on one and you get a whole bunch of session details. So very similar to how things looked like on Halo PC and Halo 2 Vista whenever you go and like you click on the server listing and then it kind of pops up with the status screen before you have the chance to join it. So very akin to how Halo CE and Halo 2 Vista did it back in the day. You also have this little bots thing that was mentioned and blew up in the community. And they addressed that in this forum post. They said that bots are some internal tools that they usually use to test some features. They're obviously encouraged to see people talking about having bots in the game, but they're not there for like the long term. It's just something that they're using as internal testing stuff. So no news on bots actually coming to MCC, but that was something that blew up, and they kind of clarified that it was just more a testing tool that they use in the studio than a feature that they're currently planning on implementing for MCC. But never say never.
There's always next time.
There's always next time. And now, GT, it's time for the main event of the Infinite update.
I don't think they want to hear about that. I think all they wanted to hear about was the custom games browser. I think we're all done.
Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll catch you next week. Mario Maker.
Dust ought to be happy. He'll have triple keybinds.
There's triple keybinds. Woo! There's crossplay. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what I would need to have the same key tied to 3 of.
Yeah, I'm happy with double keybinds, but triple is certainly. I'm
sure there'll be people that find a use for it.
I'm sure they will. I mean, if you get super serious about things, I'm sure you could get super crazy with how you can lay your keys out. Like, I wouldn't be surprised instead of someone using WASD as their main movement, they probably shift it over and have it ESDF, and they want to just completely shift over stuff so they have more keys on the left side or something like that.
Yeah, good.
They're thinking about everything according to everything that they've written in this blog, and we're going to go over all of it now. So this one,
my stick.
There you go. This one is PC centric, and we get to talk with 2 folks behind the PC side of Infinite's development. Jeff Guy, and that is not a joke. That's his last name, Jeff Guy.
Hey, I used to have a customer. His first name was Guy.
Guy Fieri?
No. I won't say his last name because it's, But anyway, yeah, I used to have a customer. His first name was Guy. Spelled the same way, too.
Very cool.
Interesting. Anyway.
Jeff Guy is the producer, and there's Mike Romero, who's the development lead for Halo Infinite. Between them, they have over 25 years of game development experience. Jeff Guy has a lot of experience behind his belt. He started with the Atari 2600, getting him interested into gaming. Started and then went into hand-me-down DOS and Windows 3.1, and then somehow was able to start working and developing on a lot of different game tech. So he had a dream job working at a brand new graphics card architecture straight out of college. And then he went and helped out with indie game studios, building graphics demos and game engines. And he's worked on several other titles as well. And then, sorry, that was Mike Romero. And then Jeff Guy, he grew up in a low-income family, didn't have a lot of access to video games until his soon-to-be stepfather introduced him to PC building, and then that kind of started him down his track. His first job was actually a game tester for Perfect Dark Zero. And then over the next 17 years, he shipped 9 AAA titles across 6 platforms, and also spent a few years with the Xbox 360 platform team on building backwards compatibility and games on demand systems. So he's
the guy.
He's
there's
very
always the guy. There's always the guy that you talk to, and he's the guy.
He is the guy.
Yeah.
Yes,
I know. Bad joke. Sorry. I'm sorry, Jeff. I couldn't resist.
Quite literally the guy.
Anyway.
I did not pick up on that until like 2 seconds after you started kind of reinforcing it. I feel kind of bad.
Yes, I saw that go right over his head.
I caught it. I caught it over my head. I eventually got it. Eventually. This update is strewn with a lot of, I think, pretty much the same ultra wide screenshots. So
Yeah.
they are flaunting their 32:9 aspect ratio support in this update, which is like a huge aspect ratio. There's so much width to that. Like, when would you ever need a 32:9 aspect ratio?
Why do people play with triple monitors?
That's my point. But
you tell me. Why do people play with triple monitors? Or triple ultra wides I've seen too.
Triple ultra wides?
Yes.
Jeez. Now that's like, you can't even see that far. It's out of your peripheral at that point.
Well, that depends on how close you are to them.
Well, okay. Fair point.
I mean, granted, in a driving game, I can see that, but in a shooter, I don't know. I mean, that's like having eyes in the back of your head.
Yeah. Fuchs is like, compensation.
Someone is. Well, you know what they say about guys in big trucks. The bigger the truck, the shorter the guy.
I've never heard that before, actually.
Watch. Big, tall truck, little bitty short guy.
Fair enough. All right, so we've got a couple of different sections in here that we have like interview responses back and forth between, I'm guessing it's Uni or Sketcher or someone on the community team doing some of these interviews. So first one is vision, what their visions and goals are for the team. And for Jeff, his vision was always making a game that feels like it was meant to be played on PC, which kind of makes sense. They're trying to be now a studio that supports both console and PC, and trying to make that PC experience feel like a first-class experience, similar to console, which has been the main goal of Halo since its earliest inception. And other game studios do it, doing it for both platforms, console and PC. So they're just kind of doing it backwards, where they started off as a console company and now they're trying to be console and PC. So,
which I find absolutely amazing that Microsoft has taken the Xbox game studios and really gotten them to move, into both genres, console and PC gaming.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing what they can to bring, both player bases together. I mean,
yeah, it's been a huge demand for the community, and look what they did with MCC.
Well, there's always been this big divide between console players and PC gamers. It used to be a status symbol to, have a ballin' gaming rig. And, if you played on console, you were a peasant. Of course, they've kind of fixed that with the consoles, at least this latest generation, which, that part is that divide is getting smaller. Don't get me wrong. PCs will still have the advantage when it comes to hardware, always, because they can innovate a lot faster than consoles will.
Mm-hmm.
The big thing consoles have is the games are optimized for the hardware you're playing on, so you get more out of the game.
Yep.
Or can get more out of the game. But I like the way they're doing it, and I'm glad that they allowed their studios to bridge that gap.
It makes the most sense too, because if you can build to both platforms, that's more people playing your game, there's more people buying your game. Mm-hmm. And there's
honestly, when Halo 3 launched, and after 6 months there was no PC port, I thought there would never be another Halo game on PC.
And here we are, 14 years later.
Yeah, I really thought, especially with the wonderful reception Halo 2 Vista got, that there would be, Microsoft would just never would explore that.
They've really come around.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, it doesn't help that Xbox Live goes down every other weekend, but
Well, compared to some of the other gaming services out there, it does very well.
but it is nice to see PC having that first class experience and them really emphasizing that PC has a place now with Halo. Not that it didn't before, but it's always taken the back seat to the console.
Yeah, it has.
Mm-hmm. At least Microsoft isn't trying to use Halo S to sell an OS.
Well, that's just because the OS came out before Halo did.
Yeah, and then that went well. So that was Jeff's side of the vision part. For Mike Romero's side of the vision part, he was really passionate about giving the players what they want as far as the PC features, the functionality, the customization, and the cross-platform accessibility to playing with console friends.
And triple keybinds.
And triple keybinds. And the ultra-wide and super ultra-wide support for those that feel so inclined. Also supporting different input devices, so being able to use an Xbox controller, mouse and keyboard, non-Xbox controller, and also being able to use mouse and keyboard when you're playing on console, which is a really cool thing to do. Then advanced sensitivity and acceleration sliders for your mouse. So a whole bunch of these specific PC type features being first class into their thought process of developing the game. So that's really cool to see. In the update, they split up the sections by just these different aspect ratio comparisons. So there's the normal 16:9, then there's a 21:9, and a 32:9 on this one screenshot, and then they show it off also with different FOVs. So the 78 for default, and then 120, and showing how that really corresponds to the different aspect ratio changes. So if you want to be looking at some of that, it's basically 3 different screenshots and taking a look at those different aspect ratios on the update. But the little key art at the very beginning, which we saw in the last update, seeing that at ultra wide, looks really pretty.
Oh yes, it does.
That's good background material right there.
You know, if the bezels were a little bit smaller on my monitor, I would use it.
Got thick bezels.
Well, yeah, there's about 1.5 inches of bezels between the 2 monitors.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, see?
So like to stretch it. Oh, you mean to stretch it across. Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not balling. I don't have a 32:9 aspect ratio monitor.
Yeah, neither do I, and I don't really plan on getting one.
I mean, honestly, I've thought about it because I've got 4 monitors on my desk, and if I could get a couple of them one of them that would support like a picture-in-picture where I could have them side by side, 2 16:9 side by side, that would be great because I could have my game on one side and then like my Twitch stuff on the other side, all on one monitor instead of stretching across 2 monitors like I do now.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've thought about doing just an ultra wide, which is the 21:9. I don't think I'd do super ultra wide, the 32:9, but the ultra.
Well, like I said, the only way I'd do it is if I could, do like a picture-in-picture type deal where I could use half the screen for one, half the screen for another.
Gotcha. Okay. So there's that in the update. We've got the next section, which is considerations for PC, and this the first
power.
response. More juice in the PC. The first response here is from the guy himself. He says the main consideration for him is the player identity. So gamers have their own rigs, and they spend a lot of time fine-tuning their rigs to perform the best. So they want to make sure that all the different hardware profiles that you could possibly have for your gaming rig will be supported, which is important because going from 1 or 2 different hardware profiles that you have to develop to over tens of thousands of different combinations that you could possibly have from motherboards, CPUs, RAM, GPUs, peripherals, input devices. It's a very different ballgame to have that kind of thought go into development of a game.
Can you imagine being the guy that tests all the hardware?
Yeah. have to get so many different graphics cards and memory and CPU and like mixing and matching everything that's going on with,
because they got to be going at least back to like NVIDIA, back to like the 9 series at minimum. I don't see them going any further back than that, but I mean, they could go, who knows? I mean, they could go, who knows?
They're probably going back far enough to see what their minimum specs are.
Yeah. I mean, they could be back at 7 series NVIDIA cards too.
I wonder, it might be a worthwhile question. Actually, this would be a good Ask 343 question. I'm going to actually write it down and maybe put it out as a tweet. But I wonder if there's other companies that kind of specialize in doing that minimum requirement, recommended requirement. So like you could send a build of your game off to this company or this farm of computers that have all these different hardware profiles, and you can say, I want to know what minimally runs this game with these graphics settings at this frame rate and what is recommended. So it's basically these number of settings enabled at this frame rate, this resolution, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they could probably do that virtually as well. In that kind of environment, they basically virtually build a computer and then just take stuff away until they start having problems with it.
Yeah, but that doesn't. I mean, you still have to have the physical hardware to have that physical interaction.
I know, but that way they don't have to test every single freaking graphics card in the world. They can get it narrowed down to a certain set of criteria, and then they can.
Yeah, but I mean, virtual is never gonna fully resemble physical.
Well, that all depends on what they're using and how they're doing it.
Because I mean, you have a virtual machine that you've tried to do a graphics card pass through on, and
well, that's because NVIDIA disabled the feature. So that has nothing to do with me doing it. That's because NVIDIA was being, never mind, which they just unlocked that for everyone from 10. I think it's 10 series and newer. No, that wasn't anything I was doing. That was NVIDIA just making the driver not install when you had their when you were passing through one of their cards to a virtual machine. Now there are workarounds to that, and I just didn't feel like jacking with them.
Didn't feel like trying to brick your graphics card to make it work.
Well, it just wasn't something that at that time was that important to me. I am considering in another couple of years doing something similar.
Mm-hmm.
When I've got to find the right hardware, but I would like to do that. I would like to condense everything I have into one box, because most of the stuff that I do with my computer could be done in a virtual machine, no problem. I mean, I really don't need bare metal to run an accounting program.
No, you don't.
I don't have to have Windows 7 installed on a bare metal machine to do what I use it for.
True.
But like I said, and that's all in more in line with me wanting to consolidate stuff just so it's in a much neater package.
I mean, that makes sense.
So that's the only reason I was looking at it.
Gotcha. Okay. But
still, there are things out there that are getting VMs closer and closer to being able to mimic real metal hardware with very little difference between.
Yeah,
it's not perfect. Don't get me wrong. It's not perfect. But they're getting there. They're getting to the point where they can emulate. You can take and put a high-end card and do a pass through and tweak the settings on that card to where it can emulate a lower tier card.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you can turn off. I've seen.
So you
there's
disable CUDA cores in software.
Exactly.
Basically. Interesting.
I mean, you already in a BIOS, you can already go in and turn off cores to your, CPU cores.
That's true. I did not think
So,
of that, but yeah.
I mean,
It's true.
I don't know because I'm not in that business, but I have seen stuff passed around where it looks like it's very possible to do exactly that.
I just thought of a funny question to ask them. Could you run Halo Infinite in a VM?
Sure.
I mean, you could, but like, would they recommend it?
Probably not.
That'd just be a funny question to see them try to answer.
Honestly, that actually brings up a really good question.
Which is?
I wonder, because my laptop actually has 2 video cards. It has a dedicated graphics card, and then it has the onboard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if I could assign do a pass-through on the onboard card to a VM. Just to run like Halo CE, not like run MCC or anything.
Sure. I guess it depends on motherboard support.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that.
What the UEFI or the BIOS supports, and then what the VM host that you're using can expose at the VM level.
Yeah, I'll have to look at that. Interesting.
Cool. With an
look into
SSD
that.
RAID array, I'm sure disk and read write would be good. Yeah, pins. Probably right. Or there's always Project xCloud too, if you feel so inclined to run a VM of an Xbox.
Well, really, that's kind of what it is. Well, not really, but
not
I mean,
really,
they're just broadcasting video signal, but still.
Yeah, they've
Anyway,
got
way off
dissected
topic.
Xbox Ones in server racks, basically, is what they're doing. Yeah. So for the considerations for PC question, going over to Mike Romero's response, his considerations mostly focus around the expectation that players have of the look, feel, and operation of the game. So things like having the right settings menu to have the fine-tuned tweaking that you would do to different graphics pieces, different resolutions, different FOVs, and all that stuff. Ultra-wide versus standard definition, because there are people that probably still use standard definition 1280 by 1024 screens. The young guns with or folks that maybe don't have enough to spend on too many upgrades, but still want to play games.
I use one every day at work.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, granted, I'm not playing Halo on it either.
Maybe you could. Maybe you can pop in a 970 in there and you can play some Halo while you're on break.
Yeah, my phone's got more processing power than the computer I'm using.
You can play it at 320 by 240. That'd be crazy. Trying to see Halo Infinite like on Xbox original graphics quality. That would be nuts.
The way they're talking, it sounds like you'll be able to tweak and tune on it to make it look however you want.
Yeah, it's kind of what it sounds like. So again, a lot of the menu stuff and customizations that people on the PC side of things are used to, and also supporting some of the different UI elements, making sure those play well across all FOV and aspect ratios. So if you have, for example, the ultra wide or super ultra wide, and where you have the radar and ammo counter and grenade counter and all that stuff, like anchoring them to the sides of the screen or anchoring them center. So MCC had this whole discussion. So they're probably taking a lot of what they learned in MCC and applying it to Halo Infinite here.
Yeah, I want to have to turn 90 degrees to be able to look at my radar.
Yeah, that wouldn't be helpful. I mean, the only screenshot they have in here is showing them all in the corners.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing there's going to be an option to have them more traditional style, or be able to maybe... Actually, it'd be cool if you had a slider that you could say, how far out do you want the UI elements to be?
Yeah.
So that'd be cool.
Well, I think don't they have a setting in MCC for that?
I think they have the setting where you can specify if it's like the standard distance away on either side, and then it fills in the rest, or you can put it to the screens. I don't think there's like a slider that you can put it in between. But
well, no, not a slider, but
yeah,
a setting to keep the aspect ratio of the head, I should say.
Right. Yeah, you can either keep it at the traditional 16:9 widescreen, or you can fill it to the edge of whatever aspect ratio you're doing. So I'm guessing they're taking the same kind of approach that they did for MCC support on PC and applying it to Halo Infinite, would be my guess. There's a couple of times in here where they call out specific things that the MCC team has faced and they're trying to learn from. So that's been mentioned a few times. Especially in the next section, which is talking about opportunities and challenges that they've had with making the PC experience for Infinite. The guy, Jeff Guy, for him, he said convincing console devs that certain PC quirks are important. So things that, as console developers, you kind of dismiss or don't think about, bringing up the fact that, no, these are actually important when you're playing on PC. And throwing into that what they call preventative problem solving. So again, mentioning the mix of different hardware profiles that the game could be played on, not too intrusive DRM, and anti-cheat, which is a big concern for a lot of gamers, making sure that any kind of anti-cheat or DRM isn't basically sucking information out of your computer and locking things down to where you can't actually use your computer. And then other lessons learned from MCC that they've taken back.
The only thing I've got to say to that, the DRM, I understand. They need to be cautious with that. But the as far as the anti-cheat, for one, it shouldn't be pulling any information off my computer. Yeah. Other than looking for certain situations.
Yes.
But as far as the anti-cheat when it comes to online play, I hope it's aggressive. I've come across it in another game that I play, and it's not fun. It's when you have someone that fires a sniper rifle full auto, it's not right. So
something sounds broken there.
Yeah, there's I really do hope that they're very aggressive with that. And that's the one thing, it's one thing that I'm cautiously waiting for, is to see what they plan on doing about that. So far on MCC, I haven't seen too much.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing that's really made me think, oh, that guy's cheating.
Yeah.
So
there's been a couple instances where that seems like.
There's been some times where I've questioned it. I'm like, is that guy cheating, or is it just bad connection
or good skill? Because there's been a few times where we've come across people who's like, man, they just know the map and can predict spawns and whatnot. But there's other times like there was a usually
the predicting spawns thing, that's usually pretty easy to distinguish between someone predicting the spawns and someone looking through walls.
There was a game on Halo CE and MCC. Bobby was on it too. Keys may have been on it. Derelict, and we just got stomped, and we were pretty sure that the one person was cheating. Bobby, do you remember that game? Because that was a rough game.
Well, yeah, Pens. No anti-cheat is foolproof, and if it's like locks on, it's like you putting a lock on anything. The lock's only there to keep honest people honest.
Right.
If they're gonna cheat, they're gonna cheat. The one thing I need, what I would want them to do is be aggressive in stopping it. When they find someone that's cheating, aggressively go after them to make sure they don't do it again.
And if someone breaks the lock, you put in a better lock, and eventually that lock gets broken.
Well, no, it's not so much the lock itself. It's what you do when the lock is opened. If somebody's selling a cheat to your game, don't just sit in the back and let them keep selling the cheat. Go after them and take the gloves off. Make them think, oh, maybe I shouldn't do this to anybody. Because as long as they can get away with it, they'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. The way people are that do that kind of stuff. As long as they can get away with it, they'll keep doing it.
Well, there was actually a question a little bit further on, and they pulled in their security engineer to talk about the considerations that they have, or considerations they have regarding the free-to-play multiplayer that's going to be part of Infinite. So I'm just going to jump down here. Michael Van Coopers is the security engineer for Halo Infinite, and he goes into some of the details on their anti-cheat philosophy. For them, it's to make cheating more difficult in ways that don't involve kernel drivers or background services. They've done a lot to secure the Slipspace engine and develop novel ways to protect and change the game to slow down cheat development. When people do cheat, we're focused on catching them through their behavior and not from the data that they've harvested from their machines. So it's kind of a next-gen way of thinking about anti-cheat, because previously anti-cheat was, okay, the game's going to scan for files or executables that are trying to hook into the game that shouldn't be there. And trying to scan,
which is one of the big problems we had with streaming there for a while, because the hooks that like OBS use would trigger anti-cheat.
Although
I like the line they put in here. Combating cheaters is an ever evolving arms race, and that's exactly true.
It is. Yep. It certainly is. And it will be as long as this gaming is it's not just gaming.
As long as there's money to be made at it, it will continue to happen.
Oh, no, not even money. I mean, some people create cheats just to
the bulk of cheats out there are developed to make money.
Right.
Because they develop the cheat, then they sell it to people that just want to be better at the game. Because they don't have the skill or they don't want to put the time into being better. I suck at first-person shooters, but I don't buy cheats.
Yeah, it ruins the experience.
Because that is just, then it's not me. It's the cheat playing the game, not me. And what's the point in that?
Exactly. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Little side note, Andy Salisbury was the one that actually put together this Inside Infinite update, not Uni. So,
okay.
Thank you, Andy. Yeah.
Thank you.
Just thought I'd put that out there since I just saw the tweet come across my Twitter feed. So, thank you, Andy. All right, on to the... Let's see, we talked about...
The finish up opportunities and challenge.
Yeah, so we over to Mike's response on that. His was more shining lights in dark corners on assumptions that work for consoles, but not for PC. Also supporting multiple console performance profiles, so the fact that the original Xbox One can play this game, in addition to Xbox Series X being able to play.
Oh, you mean they're going to support multiple hardware packages? Oh, that's going to break the game. They had to stop development on it now.
Welcome back to 4 months ago.
I couldn't
5.
resist.
The community can be very stupid at times. It's embarrassing. But, yeah.
The way they're talking so far, it sounds like they're developing the Slipspace engine is going to be a very adaptable engine and be able to run on a myriad of hardware.
Yep. It's sprinkled throughout the update, but they talk about how they've had to update their tool set drastically to support the Infinite engine, and they've made some significant changes to, like, under the hood for the engine to support some of the ambitions that they have for the Halo franchise going forward.
Yeah, they already got a taste of being too big for their britches, so they're trying to not to do that again.
MCC. I mean, given where MCC has been to where it is now, it's night and day. Like, MCC,
yeah, it is. It is.
While it had a really shaky start, where it is today is...
Oh, it crashed and burned, Dust. Let's not be nice about it.
Okay,
it did.
Fair enough.
But what they've done with it, they have made it a very playable title. It is a good experience. It's an enjoyable experience, and they are continuing to improve it.
They just released it when it was alpha instead of beta or finished product.
Yeah, what's before alpha?
Dev builds?
Yeah.
Pre-alpha?
Yeah, this was a pre-alpha. Anyway, in comparison, I give them props. It was a very ambitious project, one that they really should not have done.
Where it is now, I appreciate that they did it.
Yes, I'm going to say yes. I appreciate that they did do it and that they stuck with it and they put the work in to fix it.
And they fixed it for the community basically for free. Like they were under no obligation to continue developing the game, and they did. They spent probably millions of dollars.
They spent the Microsoft bucks on that.
They did. And I think it's working out in their favor. They learned a lot from it, and they're taking their lessons learned with MCC and putting it into Infinite to make it a PC native title.
Yeah.
They're taking lessons learned. Like, while 343 made a lot of missteps with the release of MCC, the way they've adjusted and fixed their methodologies and what they've done to fix MCC has set them up really well for the long run. They're showing that they're learning from their past experiences. Not gonna
they're listening to what we say, and they're learning from their mistakes. Sometimes I wish they would listen to us less and do what they're going to do.
Sometimes, yeah. It's a hard balance to strike, though.
Yes.
Like, sometimes you have to know, like, it's hard to know when the community is just venting because it's the community and it's gamers and they don't understand game development and game science.
Which is like all the time.
I mean, there's some people in
there
the
are good
community.
things that have come out of the community, and there are some not so good things.
Right. There's some questionable things. Some members of the community know what they're talking about because they've done game dev or they have a career in game dev and they have some valuable input. There's a lot of people out there that think they know something and they probably don't.
I'm kind of interested about this next little spot. Redacted.
The out of the box PC features? Is that what you're interested in?
It's redacted. No. Actually, a couple more down, but yeah, we can go through this first.
Oh, yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about. So some of the things that people can expect right out of the box. A buttery smooth experience on mouse and keyboard.
Buttery. Like
buttery
parquet?
Smooth. Not just smooth, buttery smooth.
Parquet?
It's going to glide across the table.
Parquet?
We've got...
And there's probably like 3 people in here that actually get that.
I don't.
I know you don't.
Which is why I'm just moving on. Pens got it. Of course you got it, Pens. You and GT are the same generation. I'm a youngin. I'm the youngin compared to you guys. All right, next one. Ultra wide, 21:9, 32:9, and beyond. So it's not just super ultra wide. It's gonna support beyond that if there's monitors to support it. Support for everything: in-game, narrative moments, menus, the works. Oh boy, what did he say? Get off my lawn. Oh jeez. Anyways, and then support for everything as far as the screen aspect ratios for in-game, narrative moments, menus, the works. Display settings, refresh rates, triple keybinds. Not single, not double, but triple keybinds. Advanced graphics options that you would expect, and the ability to dynamically scale resolution to maintain frame rate and competitiveness. Okay.
I tell you what, these menu screens look, oh my God.
There's a lot of stuff in here.
No, I mean, they are clean.
Oh, that's what you mean. I was looking at the video.
Everything is so crisp.
Yeah. Very simple interface. Got others. There's minimum and maximum frame rates in here. Resolution scale. You can choose. Oh, this is cool. You can actually choose your display adapter and which monitor.
Well, they've got that in MCC.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. You can actually go in and tell MCC what monitor you want to display on.
Oh.
That must be something recent. And I mean recent, I mean in the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 updates. Because I noticed it. Actually, I noticed it right when crossplay came out. Is when I noticed it because I got tired of having to launch the game and then drag it down to my gaming monitor. And then, if I had to restart the game, it'd go up to the other monitor to have to bring it back down and all that crap. But yeah, no, you can actually go into the settings and pick which monitor it launches on with one of the updates.
I didn't know
if you run on a multi-monitor.
Okay. And then they have some more settings in here for video stuff, so anti-aliasing, texture filtering, texture geometry quality, reflections, depth of field, shadow quality, dynamic lighting. So there's definitely a works of video settings it looks like they're giving us so far. Anyways, back up to the out-of-the-box stuff. Display settings, refresh rates, triple keybinds, advanced graphics options, the ability to play with your friends regardless of what platform they are on. Steam, Xbox, Game Pass for PC. Everyone can play together. They plan to build Infinite.
Play.
We have come to play. Remember those commercials? We have come to play. GT's
take us to your leader.
We plan to build upon Infinite for years to the future, so managing content for the game is a native and familiar way to each different platform. Being able to join friends through Xbox Live, Steam, and Discord. Discord integration. That's going to be nice. And then there's also options for showing FPS ping in an overlay. Ooh, that'll be nice for some gamers. Or hiding the HUD entirely if you want to take some nice screenshots. Or overlay your own thing while streaming. Interesting.
In-game overlays? Wow.
Well, I wonder if it's like you can I don't know. I'm thinking it's more like you can hide certain elements so anything you have overlay wise in the stream, it wouldn't be obstructing anything. But if you could actually put your own overlay into it, there's a lot of options and settings I don't want to talk about just yet, but we're working on more and many ideas for the future as well.
Yeah.
Nice. Next section, experiences that help guide the PC team. So for Jeff Guy, he has an experience bringing AAA titles to PC and being able to express the needs of PC gamers and how they differ from console gamers and how they've changed over the year. And then for Mike Romero, he says, I'm new here. And Jeff responds to that saying that Mike's perspective actually has helped him fight for things that are typically not done in gaming, has even caused Jeff to go down some rabbit holes of why certain things are done for certain games or how they're done in game dev, and have actually blasted down some old barriers.
You went down the hole.
So having some new blood in there to kind of challenge the old way of doing things. Which is typically a good thing if you can embrace that kind of new blood mentality.
Provided the new blood actually knows what they're talking about.
Well, yes, it does, but
that does help.
In this case, it sounds like they actually are. So the fact that they're able to take a good look at why something's done a certain way and be able to break that mold. I mean, that typically is attributed to kind of a risky way of doing things, but it usually has a big reward if you can overcome that risk. So that's really cool to see. So some PC features that we may have not seen before, or definitely some new stuff for Halo Infinite. So that'll be good. The next section, which maybe this is the section you were talking about, not sure, but how players can link up.
Yeah.
We've got the aforementioned Xbox Live, Steam, and Discord. And then there's going to be both in-game and out-of-game invite support for Halo Infinite. And
I think that's kind of neat. Get an invite from maybe your Discord server to go play a game.
Yeah. So like right now for the Among Us lobbies I play with on Sundays, I can bring up my Discord overlay in Among Us, and then there's a little button that you can do to invite channel to the game. So you basically just click the button, and within whatever text channel you're currently in, it creates a little button that you can click, and it will take you right into the game.
Speaking of which, I need to talk to you about that Discord overlay too. Anyway.
Oh, okay. So yeah, being able to support Discord is going to be pretty huge. That'll make a lot of Halo communities happy, because I know there's a lot of Halo communities in Discord, and being able to tie that in with looking for group type stuff and custom games will be very handy. Not to mention tournament support. So if you have a Discord where you have all your tournament players in, you just have them go there, and if they're in a specific channel, you just click in there, and that's how you get into your next game. Instead of, although I guess a lot of stuff might go back to in person eventually, but for the online tournament stuff, it'd be very handy.
Yeah.
Jeff continues to go on and say you will be able to host your own local multiplayer server. So that's cool. It's probably very similar to the Halo 5 one, but it will support PC and Xbox, and you're able to join the local server and play Halo Infinite multiplayer. Also, you'll have the opportunity to play both ranked and unranked match-made playlists where PC and Xbox can play together.
Mm-hmm. And the only place they're looking to put any restrictions on is in ranked, and it'll be by input, not by platform.
Yes. Which is a big, big step forward in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
If you got the extra hardware gear to support the extra frames or the ultra wide, then I mean that's your competitive edge right there, is really taking that to the next level. So since they're supporting mouse and keyboard on console, it makes sense to do it by input device instead of by platform, because the console is just a PC, just with a specific set of hardware. You could basically mimic an Xbox console if you get the right processor, the right memory, the right graphics card, and all that stuff, and you can basically have the equivalent of an Xbox sitting on your desk. That's a PC instead of an Xbox. So,
the only thing you can't mimic is the operating system.
Well, and honestly, the Xbox operating system is just a modified version of Windows 10. So it's
true, but
it's still Windows 10 under the hood.
There's a lot of bloat that's stripped out of the Xbox version that is in a standard version.
Yes, there is.
Because there's other things that PCs are intended to do that an Xbox is not.
Right. Like domain joining and running other applications and drivers and all that fun stuff.
Well, an Xbox designed to set one set of hardware. A PC has to support all the hardwares.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So input-based ranked matchmaking. Sounds like a good way to go.
Yeah.
The next section is talking about how the PC team integrates in with the other teams that help make Infinite. And Jeff Guy in here says that they work closely with all the other groups. Sometimes there are weekly or monthly meetings with different groups, including the Sandbox, UX, UI, Live, and Graphics teams. So it's a whole co-development effort with the PC team and then all the other aspects of the development team for Infinite, which makes sense. And then from Mike Romero's side of things, pull a little excerpt from him in here. We design, develop, test, and incorporate feedback together. A good example would be the graphics options, where graphics engineers code a feature, tech artists and content creators use the feature as an input to tune the visuals of the game. Then the UX and UI team builds the widgets, like sliders and text input, and then the PC team pulls all the ingredients together and have a polished player control in a menu that does the thing that players expect. So there's this whole
pipeline. It does the thing.
Right. There's this whole pipeline of, all right, I want this feature. How do we implement it? How do we put controls to it? How do we display it? How do we support it?
Yeah, there's more than just adding the feature. There's a whole list of things that has to happen.
Yeah. It's a pipeline. There's a whole lot of things that have to jump from one team to the next and make sure that can go all the way from end to end to be fully supported. Game dev is not easy, folks.
Nope.
Also, they're responsible for thinking of scenarios that people are not used to thinking about because it's traditionally been a console game. So because there's the PC side of things, they have to make sure that PC-centric ideas and concepts are captured in whatever is designed, prototyped, proposed, all that stuff. And then we kind of touched on already the considerations for free-to-play multiplayer, the considerations of fairness and a not-so-intrusive anti-cheat and DRM. So PC's getting a lot of loving.
And imagine that they didn't go into detail.
I mean, I wouldn't expect them to. It's
anti-cheat. They shouldn't.
It's right. It's concealed for a reason. So we've got Tales from the Trenches. We normally don't go over these too much, but there's actually a lot of good tidbits in each one of these people that are talking in the Tales from the Trenches. So we're going to go over those actually this time for once. The first one is from Sam Henshaw, who's the live producer. And he says that they've been conducting external flights and place testing with a very small external group representing a variety of backgrounds.
I volunteer. Oh.
I volunteer as tribute. Getting to see some folks outside the company experience the game for the first time has been a thrill. The feedback has been heartening in many areas and impactful in others. So they've been getting some external play testing,
which does not surprise me at all.
No, I mean they've had their user, what do they call it? User experience lab type thing where they'll have people come in and do a playtest session and provide their feedback. I don't know if they're doing that now with the whole working from home COVID stuff, because usually that happens when like people have to go in to a place, sign an NDA, they give their feedback while they're there, and then they leave.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure not.
So I like, is that external to the studios, like other Microsoft studio partners or other Microsoft employees? I'm wondering what the extent of that is, or maybe there's some secret Halo community members out there that are playing the game.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't actually have Halo communities out there with NDAs signed stating that they can't talk about it, would they? Dust?
Depends on how much they trust the community, I guess. I'm sure there's some trustworthy individuals.
I'm sure there are some people out there that have had hands-on with the game. Whether no one says they have to be YouTubers, but they could be community members, people that just enjoy the game. And through past trials, they have proven themselves trustworthy.
Possibly.
And or they are employed by 343 or Microsoft or one of its subsidiaries to the point where if you talk about it, we make your job disappear.
Right. It's like, you want to keep working at Microsoft? You don't say a word. So
they don't make you disappear. They just make your job disappear.
Right. Hey, you know that paycheck? Yeah, it's not coming anymore.
Well, we'll be collecting that for you.
Right.
In the foreseeable future.
So we'll I guess we'll I don't know if I'll ever hear about that, but I guess we'll see.
Probably not.
Probably not. But we'll see. Next one's up from Tashi, talking about some HCS stuff. So apparently a few weeks ago, they announced their first competitive Halo Infinite venue secured. And then today they're happy to announce that they have a venue earmarked for the first Halo World Championship for Halo Infinite. No details locked up yet, but things are moving.
Cool.
So that's cool. Next one's from Grimbrother 1, Mr. Jeff Easterling himself. Talking about some of the narrative stuff. There's a lot of things in here with Infinite that he's proud of. There's a lot of really good narrative folks that support him as well. Paul Crocker, Dan Choshi, Aaron Lindy, and a new guy, Joe Staten, who's helping them out as well. A lot of stories to be told, a lot of new strands to uncover. Keeping with the theme of some of the recent Inside Infinite focuses, one of the things he's particularly excited about is the breadth of discoverable audio logs to be unearthed and dissected. So that'll be fun.
Ooh.
Open world-ish. I wonder how many of those audio logs are going to be there. Or
So
heck,
not
maybe...
only do we get a grappling hook, we get a shovel. Oh.
It'd be interesting if over time they add new audio logs and it's up to the community to go find out where the new audio log is.
It would not surprise me.
Jeff, if you're listening, that'd be a cool feature to have. Next one is from Patrick Wren, who is one of the multiplayer designers. I've had a chance to meet him at the studio a couple of times. A really nice guy. So during the development, every little detail comes together. They've been working closely with the audio and effects teams to make sure the multiplayer game modes events shine. When you capture a flag in Halo, everyone will know, and it'll be amazing. They're using sound and effects to give vital information and new ways to allow players to make more impactful decisions. Working very closely with audio tuning and VO systems and making sure the announcer, Spartan Cheddar, and Redacted all work in tandem to deliver super clear but also an immersive experience. So making sure the multiplayer experience is top notch. The next one is from Chris Howard, who's a pipeline engineer. And this was more of a down-to-earth type of comment, saying that throughout the development process, there's things that the team has worked to kind of find creative ways to make things happen. Really try to push forward the overall vision, the art, the immersive experiences. But at the end of the day, there are always going to be things that have to hit the cutting room floor. Sometimes these things are out of their control. Other times, these things just have to be done to meet deadlines. So as Infinite comes to a close on actual release, they're still picking up momentum to improve and strengthen the tools that they're going to support the game at release and beyond. So while they're having to hold back on a few things from the development side of things, they're still looking to push for Halo Infinite's future and development. And then the last one here is from KP, or Kevin Paul. He's a senior program manager. The Halo Waypoint team has been hard at work on the next generation of Halo's applications and website coming soon. There's a complete rebuild of the back-end systems to deliver a new experience. Halo Waypoint will now have a native iOS and Android app, in addition to the website, and replacing the existing Halo Channel app.
It doesn't work anymore.
So, Halo Waypoint Round 2 on console.
Honestly, the Waypoint app, I loved it.
The one on 360?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was nice. The interface was great, simple.
Mm-hmm.
Loved the boxes, loved being able to view your stats pretty quick. You could launch all the different 360 titles from that menu. You could see the latest news that was coming out, screenshots, videos. It's a great little app.
Mm-hmm. Look forward to seeing what they got going.
Lots of new features for web and native iOS and Android apps coming. So it'll be nice to have a whole ecosystem for Halo stats and information. And then finally, there's the
MCC
input
map
from
browser, please.
Having a map browser in like a Waypoint app that's out of the game so you could manage maps and custom games would actually be a very nice feature to have.
Actually, even it wouldn't even have to be in one of the apps as long as it's on the website.
Well, it sounds like from what KP was saying is that all the features that are going to be like website based are going to be also native support in the new Halo Channel app replacement and the native mobile apps.
But the reason being is so people that feature these custom games can just give you a link to the person's file share for you to download the game.
Oh yeah. Instead
of having to find the friend in your friends list, then browse their files, then download it, and then you have to go, okay, now I got to do the game type too.
Yes.
It's just it's a lot easier to just click it.
Yeah. So much easier. So much easier.
And yes, I would like to be able to download the game type, not just bookmark it.
Let it be
Same
a
with
file
films.
on my system. That way I can back it up when it gets full. Although with being PC native, I would hope that you could store as many custom games on your PC as you have space for. or like custom game types, custom maps.
Yeah.
Films, safe films, if safe films is a thing.
Yeah, well, I hope it is.
I hope it is too.
I would like to see the theater and safe films go back to the way it was before they decided it didn't need to be in campaign.
So
it doesn't need to be that complicated. It just needs to be able to follow a single player throughout the entire game without forgetting where it was and displaying the information correctly.
It's been done before. The reason it can't be done again. So we end up with Joe Staten at the end of it. It's cliche to say a picture's worth 1,000 words, but honestly, he's gobsmacked every time he sees Halo Infinite in an ultra-wide or super ultra-wide format.
I can't argue with that.
No, I can't either.
This might actually drive me to go get an ultra-wide.
Yeah, it might for me too. I'm not gonna lie. Get a
provided that I can ever buy a new graphics card.
I'd probably get like a 1440 tall ultra wide if I did that. Because at that point it might still be 4K, but just at the 2K height.
Yeah,
maybe. What I do? So just wait to see the game cinematics in these formats.
Yeah.
The ads. And that's it for this round of Inside Infinite. PC's getting a nice treatment. It's definitely exciting to see. Time for me to actually work on getting better at mouse and keyboard.
Oh, I've given up on that.
I'd like to try to get back to where I was. I used to be decent.
It ain't happening for me.
And that's fine. I mean, controller's still a viable option.
Well, I mean, with the whole... like I said, I've said before, the mouse isn't the problem. It's the keyboard that's the problem for me.
Yeah, I kind of trip over my own fingers sometimes with keyboard.
Well, it would probably help if I ever actually learned to type.
Oh.
And that's one thing I've never learned. I've never actually learned how to type. Can I type? Yes. Do I type correctly? Oh, hell no. I mean, most of the time I still have to look at the keyboard to type. Because for some reason, I've never committed it to memory. The 10 key, yes. 10 key I have no problem with because I've used it it's been my main input device for pretty much my entire career was the 10 key.
Crunching numbers.
But, as far as the actual text side of the keyboard, I never had that much use for it. As on a day-to-day, job.
Gotcha. Fair enough.
So I just have to keep using my Joy-Con.
There you go.
Hey, with triple keybinds, I might be able to make it work.
You might. It's a good possibility. All right. Well, I'm excited for Infinite on PC. This makes me very hopeful for a really clean PC experience.
Mm-hmm.
Not gonna lie. This I don't plan on getting. Well, Infinite's going to be included with Game Pass, which I'll have anyway. So I'll have it available on console if I ever wanted to. But I don't see any reason why I wouldn't stick to PC as much as possible for Infinite when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy they're doing it.
I'm gonna buy a console one way or another just because I'm that guy. Well, I like having the console. It's convenient.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. If there is a Halo Infinite version of the Series X or S, whatever, if there's a Halo Infinite Xbox at all, I will hands down be getting it. No question. But until that happens, my main platform is going to be PC to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm truly hoping for a Halo Infinite Xbox.
I'm hoping so too.
Because, I need to buy 5 copies of the game this time, just like I did for Halo 5. Anyway.
Well, there's supposed to be split screen support now.
No, it's just since I bought physical items for Halo 5, I bought the collector's edition for the game. I bought the console for Halo 5, of course, I didn't have them on launch day. So I bought a digital copy of the game.
Gotcha. Yeah,
so I could play the game.
Want to play the game now? So time to buy another copy.
I actually wound up owning 3 copies of Halo 5.
Oh, jeez.
Because I got one with the console, I got one with my collector's edition, and then I bought a digital copy.
Okay.
Which, fear not, I did give away the other ones.
At least they went somewhere where someone can use them.
Gave them to friends that I never saw them online playing it. So apparently impressed them very much. Sorry.
Well, this is exciting stuff. All the PC native stuff is very cool to see. Really happy to see that PC's getting the love and care that it needs to really be that first party experience. I'm looking forward to what the PC team can do with Infinite. It's going to be great. I have a feeling it's going to be good. All right, that's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We are actually having a special recording with Installation 00 to talk about his Project Mjolnir. We're doing that tomorrow off the air, so Friday. So by the time you're hearing this podcast, download it, it'll already have happened. But we're going to talk about his ambitious project to actually make a Spartan Mjolnir suit in real life and what he's doing to go about that. So he's been.
I really hope he doesn't break anything. And I'm talking about body parts, not costumes.
No. I knew what you were talking about. So there's going to be an extra podcast coming out this week. So you'll actually get 2 podcasts this week. Next week we'll be having DJ Blue and Rage More Nerd back on the show, I believe, to have their second DreamHack Griffball tournament draft picks, which will be exciting. Then the following week we're going to have more shots on the podcast, and we're going to talk about.
Sorry, I don't do shots.
What about more shots?
I don't do shots. I don't do the first shot to require more shots.
Yeah.
I'll have a beer, but I'm not doing shots.
Gotcha. Well, what if I told you it's picture shots and not drinking shots?
Well, maybe.
So maybe. Yes, Prestige and you eventually, and Pins is hopping on next point at some point too. So stay tuned. We got some guests coming up for the podcast, which is nice. You can find the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Feel free to let us know if there's a platform that you cannot find us on, because we want to make sure you can get the podcast wherever you decide to listen. You can find us on Twitch every Thursday night, recording the podcast live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We also have Fragment Friday, which takes place at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time with either Halo MCC or Halo 5 at the helm, pending community's choice in our Discord server. GT hosts that, so again, if you want to be a part of that, head on over to our Discord server and make your vote, and then come and join us for the game night. And then on Sundays, we have Achieving Halo starting around 9 o'clock. That's Eastern Time as well, and we're currently going through Halo MCC challenges for Season 6. Eventually, we'll get on the grind for the 360 achievements and hop on over to Halo 3, Halo Reach, and Halo 4. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We're also on YouTube. You can join up in our Spartan company as well to help us continue that grind towards the Achilles helmet. We still got 6 of those commendations, 2 of which are close, and then the 2 that are quite far away. And then we also have our Discord server, which you can join up, podtacular.com/Discord, and join the community discussion. We got a couple of things that happen throughout the week as far as discussions go. Nothing too crazy, nothing that you're going to necessarily miss out on, but it's a cool way to interact with the community if you so choose to. We also have our Xbox Club as well, if you want to hop on over there and share any screenshots or video clips that you managed to get in a Halo title, and we'll talk about them during our Tales from the Foxhole segment. For those that support the community, like Pins and his 11 gifted subs at the beginning of the podcast tonight, we thank you for all the support. You can subscribe to us on Twitch if you choose to do so. You can also support us through Patreon. We've got Pins Halo, Prestige Ace, and Confal contributing over on the Patreon. So thank you all for your patronage and support of the podcast over there. You can get access to our show notes, our VODs, get some Podtacular swag, and even become a guest host on the show for an episode. So more information about that over at podtacular.com/Patreon. You can also donate to the show directly if you would like as well. And have to give a shout out to Bobby for his $100 donation after the show last week. So thank you, Bobby, for your contribution to the podcast and helping us keep the lights on here at Podtacular. Unlike the one behind me that turned off midway through the podcast. Forgot to swap out the batteries before we started. Other than that, feel free to just support us by subscribing to us, listening to us, sharing us with your friends on social media. The fact that we have listeners and that you all support us is support enough. We do this just out of the fact that we love Halo and we love talking about Halo and playing Halo. Obviously not doing this as a job or anything, so any support that you guys give us, we appreciate. Bobby cursed the money. Okay. All right, Prestige. Thank you. All right. So that's going to be it for the podcast tonight. Any final thoughts, GT, before we wrap things up on this Inside Infinite regarding the native first-class PC support that we're going to get with Infinite?
Oh, sorry.
That means
Homer, go away. Oh, no, it's looking really good, and I'm really impressed with what they've released so far. I'm even more can't wait for game hands play.
Well, Joe Staten did kind of tease during his last segment.
He always teases
that there's a reason to keep your Halo Insider profile updated,
up to
especially
date. Yes,
especially come the summer con time. So by the time you're listening to this, it will be next month that the convention,
your profile,
that the convention season comes. So that's going to be a potential time for a Halo Insider flight for Infinite.
Potential.
Hint.
Potential.
Hint.
Wink, wink.
If you want to get your hands on Infinite early, make sure your Halo Insider profile is up to date. If you're a PC player and you've changed any PC parts, make sure your DX diag is updated and uploaded.
If you're actually able to get a hold of some PC parts, that is.
Well, okay. That's a good point. That's a really good point.
And if you bought it from a scalper, you deserve everything you got. Oh.
I did help Jack Fire Dragon spec out a PC, and he actually was able to get a PC that had a 3070 in it, I think.
Nice.
From a PC builder.
Yeah.
Origin,
like, so, if you're building, I think it's actually easier to get the parts if you're building a whole PC and, like from a PC builder, than if you're doing it yourself.
Yes.
Because I am not on any lists or anything. I honestly don't want a 30 series. I would just like to get a 20 series. And that was when they announced the 30 series, and when they announced the specs of the 30 series, I figured, okay, I should be able to pick up a 20 series pretty cheap because of the pricing that they had the 30 series at and the just outrageous specs that it has. People will be dumping their 20 series to, like there's no tomorrow.
Then COVID happened.
But then, COVID.
So since we were talking about this before the podcast started, and this will be the last thing before we wrap this up, Prestige said that they raised over $3,000 for Ubernick to shave his head.
Cool.
So I guess that's why it's been circulating. I hadn't seen the Prestige. GT mentioned it before the podcast started tonight.
Like I said, I didn't know why he did it, but I mean, I knew there was a reason he did it. But
3,000 is quite a bit. All right. That's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Thanks everyone for tuning in and downloading the show. We will catch you all tomorrow for Fragment Friday. If not, we will catch you right back here next week with DJ and Rage for more craziness. And actually, before that, you'll hear from Installation 00 and his Project Mjolnir. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time. Keep on fragging them trucks.